is right, the spirit's up, we're here tonight, and that's enough. Simply having a wonderful Christmas.
Hey, it's Nate, and today I am doing Wonderful Christmastime by Paul McCartney. On one hand, this is a really fun, catchy little Christmas song. On the other, it's a deeply weird composition and recording. In this video, I'll show you how to play piano accompaniment for the entire song, including the more abstract, strange parts. That said, I suspect many of you will want to focus on learning the main verse and chorus parts, so I'll go a bit slower there. Let's jump in. All right, so first off, I recommend you get the chords and lyrics chart. There's a link down in the description, and that's gonna help you follow along and see where the chords and lyrics line up with each other. The song starts with one of two main chord progressions in the song. It's gonna sound like this. First, we've got a B major 7. I'm gonna do B octaves down low, and throughout, if you wanna just do single bass notes, that totally works as well. And then in the right hand, I've got a D sharp, an F sharp, and an A sharp. This is middle C here, so you get the right octave there. Next, we've got a B6. Now notice that every chord in this line has the B bass note. So it's just the right hand that's gonna be changing. Our first finger can stay where it was on the D sharp, and then we've got a G sharp and a B. Next up, we've got F sharp over B. Now technically this is a B major 7 sus 2, but it's easier to write and sort of think about if you just think F sharp major triad in the right hand, F sharp, A sharp, and C sharp with that B bass note in the left. And then finally, we've got just a B major chord. So that's gonna be an inversion of B major with F sharp, B, and D sharp. And we're in 4/4 time, so each of these measures get 4 counts, and it's sort of interesting, rather than striking the hands together at the beginning of the measure, the first half of the measure is gonna be left hand for counts 1 and 2, and then on count 3, we're gonna bring in the right hand. So like that, it's gonna be 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And you can totally keep it simple like that, but if we want to get that pulsy quality of Paul's synth, we're going to need to think in eighth notes. So dividing the beat in half, thinking 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So for 1 and 2 and, we're going to hit the left hand. 1 and 2 and then for 3 and 4 and, we're going to hit the right hand. I'm using the sustain pedal to let us hear the B's even after we've stopped pulsing. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So I just barreled into the second progression that happens next in the song. Here's what that's gonna look like, and I will warn you, it's pretty tough. Let's break the hands apart. Let's do the left hand first. So we got C sharp minor 7, so C sharp bass note, F sharp bass note, D sharp bass note, G sharp bass note. So again, that's. Then we've got an E bass note, A bass note, B. And notice there are 4 chords crammed into that first measure. So that's a chord on every single count. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So just the B, and I put the little dash after the B to show the 4th count of that is just B again. So the B gets 2 counts on 3 and 4 of that measure. As far as the fingers go, you could do something like this. I actually might just go 5, 2, 5, 2, 5, 2, 1. So feel it out however you want to do it. The important thing though is you practice it the same way every time so you actually get the muscle memory and your hand isn't tripping over itself every time you go to do it. In the right hand for the C sharp minor 7, we're gonna do this. It's essentially an E major chord, but of course with the C sharp bass note it sounds correct. But we've got a B, a E, and a G sharp. Then for the F sharp 9, we're just gonna drop the first finger down to an A sharp. Sounds really cool. So that's just the first two chords. Now for the D sharp minor 7, we've got a C sharp, an F sharp, and an A sharp. And then this change is a little bit easier. We're just gonna take the bottom note up to a D sharp. So D sharp, F sharp, A sharp in the right as we hit that G sharp bass note there for that G sharp minor 9. Then for the E major 7, of course, we're coming to the E bass note here, and we're gonna do this. And that's the same shape we did for the B6 in the first progression. That's a D sharp, G sharp, and B. And then this is a really cool change here. We're gonna keep our 5th finger on B there, and then both of these fingers are gonna move down. This one a whole step down to the C sharp, this one just a half step down to G. Love that change so much. And then we're just stepping up to the B, of course, in the left hand. And to do that, we've got B, F sharp, and D sharp there. And take all the time you need getting that right hand. Then you can very slowly put them together. And I just want to say, this part is quite hard. The changes are coming really fast, and they're kind of weird shapes that my hands weren't used to them. So it actually took me a few days of working on it a bit, sleeping on it, coming back to it before it really clicked and I was able to play it fast. It's fast and complicated enough that you can't really think about it while you play it. So the only way to get it is to just work on it slowly until you have the muscle memory and you can just sort of do it. The finishing touch to get the pulsing echo of Paul's synth is going to be to do some of those sort of bouncy eighth notes in the right hand. And then here's how the song starts when we put it all together. It's 1 time through that first progression and then 2 times through the second progression. Okay, so then the first, I guess you could call it a verse starts, and that is the exact same thing again, but just with the singing. Now on your chords and lyrics chart, I didn't label all the sections verse, chorus, because everything happened so rapid fire, it would have just made the sheet way longer. So here is the first, I guess you could call it a verse and chorus.
The mood is right, the spirit's up, we're here tonight, and that's enough. Simply having a wonderful Christmas time. Simply having a wonderful Christmas time. The party's on.
Okay, so that would be going into another pass through the exact same thing, just with different lyrics for the first line. Before I go any further, real quick, if you are enjoying this video and you are not subscribed to the channel, please do subscribe. It really helps the channel out. It helps the channel grow. The more the channel grows, the more of my time I can put into making these videos for you. So I really appreciate it. Okay, so next up we have the first of what I'm going to call the bridge, which happens in a few different sections. The first of which is the
choir of children sing this song.
So this is what that's going to look like. It's 2 times through this melody in the right hand, while the left hand's just on B. And you could just kind of hold the B, or to keep the energy up, I'm going to probably be pulsing those eighth notes. But the right hand, despite not hitting on the first count of the measure, is going to just hit on every other count. And we're coming down D sharp, B, G sharp, E to start the next measure. I'm probably going to then cross over to do the C sharp, A sharp, F sharp. And we're just coming down on, starting with like a E major 7th chord, crossing over to do F sharp major chord. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. So on it repeats around, and on beat 1, just hit the left hand again, maybe accent it a little bit, and then it just repeats again. Next up, we've got the ding-dongs. It's going to sound like this. Ding-dong, 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 ding. Ooh. So here are the notes and the counts and everything. The left hand is just going to be pulsing on B this whole section. I'm going to keep it up with the 8th notes. But this melody in the right hand, sort of basing it both on the keyboards and just the harmony of the vocals there. And you can sort of think of it as 2 separate things. One is this top melody, the D sharp, B, D sharp, B, D sharp, B, back and forth there. And then the lower voice is just stepping down A, G sharp, F sharp, D sharp. But it's a little tricky to get those together. So I'm gonna do 1 and 5, 1 and 3, 1 and 5, 1 and 3. If that's just too tricky for you, you could just stick with the lower voice, and because you're probably gonna be singing that. Ding dong, ding dong, ding dong, ding. But after the second measure, instead of going down to the D sharp and B, that time we're actually going to hit E and B. And on your chords and lyrics chart, it just is there as an E over B chord. And that's going to be for a measure. And that's, of course, for the ooh. You can do the 8th note pulsing or keep it more simple. And then we have what on your chords and lyrics chart, it'll say E6/B, E6 over B. We're going to come up to the 6th above E on the C sharp there. And then just in passing on beat 4 there, hit A sharp on top. I'd say that's optional. And then back to the 5ths, E and B. So from that part, it's ooh, ooh, 2, 3, 4, and then there's a B chord, but all we're hearing is the B root and then the major third there, the D sharp, kind of low. Let me play through that whole bridge. The choir of children sing their song. Ding dong, ding dong, ding dong, ding. Okay, so right after that, as you could hear, I launch back into the first progression. Looks like that. This time we only go around once, but something really interesting happens here. For the rest of the song, whenever we're on this chord progression, instead of being 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and we've got 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and so the right hand hits a beat earlier. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. I never noticed that until I sat down to learn it. And depending on the energy you want, you could do 1 and 2 and 3, letting the left ring out there. Or I might just sometimes do 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3. So just letting the left hand pulse the entire time and just adding the right hand for beats 2, 3, and 4. But yeah, the next little bit of structure will be self-explanatory from your chords and lyrics chart. We have another Simply Heaven, and then another The word is out about the town. So doing that rhythm, lift your glass. The one thing I want to say is once the singing starts after the previous chorus, for the rest of the song, when we get to the B's, instead of doing the 1 and 2 and 3, just for the B's at the end, we're just going to hit both hands together. So the first time that happens is on the, so lift your glass, oh, and don't look
down.
Okay, so after that, we've got another chorus, a simply heaven. But that time it only does it once. So then we are in the second bridge, and it starts the same as the first bridge. The only difference being there are actually lyrics the second time around. They practice all year long. So we've got
the choir of children sing their song. They practiced all year long.
Okay, we now have another ding-dong section, but it's different this time. It's gonna sound like this.
Ding dong, 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 dong, dong.
So here are the notes for that. Once again, we are just staying on B in the right hand. And then in the right hand, we're moving between this shape of it's a B major chord. So B, D sharp, and F sharp. And then we're gonna keep the B there and then step up to E and G sharp. So it's like an E over B. Then we go back to the B, and then we've got this. So it's just the top two notes are stepping around in thirds. So that's gonna be a C sharp and E. And the timing is 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So you step up, down, down, up, up, down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. Of course, I'm going to be in that eighth note pulsy groove, so I'm going to be actually doing 2 hits per each of those shapes. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and so that measure starts out the same way as the first measure did, but then instead of doing that, we're gonna go to an F sharp 7 chord, and nothing fancy here, so I just wrote it as a measure of F sharp 7. So we'll voice it. You can come up here for the left hand. I might go down there though. And we've got an A sharp, a C sharp, and an E sharp. And I'm just gonna pulse on that as I build energy for the next verse. So yep, we've got another verse, chorus there, and then we have the solo section. I think it's a synth solo, but I'm not sure. If you know, let me know. The tenor of it sounds like a synthesizer, but it also sounds like there's like these little slidey moments, so it might be a guitar with a really weird tone. But this part is weird. Here's the chords for this. So this is like that second progression, the chorus progression, but like it keeps getting stuck in a loop in various places, like a skipping record almost. It's gonna sound like this. Flying by the seat of my pants there. Okay, so it starts off just as we would, but then when you get to the E major 7 to A9, it's going to do that 3 times. So 1, 2, 3. Now it's going to go to the second pair of chords in the progression, the D to the G sharp, and it's gonna do that twice. At which point it goes back to the beginning and it just does the full thing again, but just notice the placement within the measures has gotten a little screwy here. We're starting the full progression again in the middle of this measure of 4. And so the B at the very end of it, which usually lasts 2 counts just to fill out the measure, is actually going to last a full 4 counts. It's disorienting. From that last C sharp minor 7, you could count 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. But you'll probably lose count. I do. The important thing to know is just when you hit that last B to just restart your count. 1, 2, 3, 4 before we go into the next verse. After that verse, it's another chorus. Simply heaven. It just does 3 times through instead of the usual 2. And then we finally land on the outro. That part is going to sound like this.
Christmas time.
So we've got this B major 7, just like we start the main progression. Then we're stepping down to a C sharp minor over B. So that's C sharp, E, and G sharp. Then we step down to a B, root position B major this time, B, D sharp, and F sharp. Then back up to C sharp minor over B. So that's 2 counts each, or 4 pulses if we're thinking in the 8th notes. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and then we start that progression again. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and back down to B. Full Christmas. So there's that same F sharp 7 we did at the end of the second bridge for 2 counts. Christmas time. And then we are in the final moments on that B major 7. If you can do polyrhythms, you can do some triplets in the right hand there for the weird delay stuff that Paul's got on his synth. And then finally, we have this B6-9 chord. It's a really nice sounding chord. We've got D sharp, G sharp, and C sharp there. By the time you hit that, the song's pretty much over. We hear a little of the echo on it, so if you want to kind of pulse and fade it out a little bit, you can, but the song is over. Okay, thank you for sticking with me. I am now going to do a full playthrough of all of that so you can see how all these parts fit together in the full song. If you enjoyed this video, please do give it a like and subscribe to the channel. Click the bell so you know when I put out more videos like this one. And here is my version of Wonderful Christmas Time.
The spirit's up, we're here tonight, and that's enough. Simply having a wonderful Christmas time. Simply having a wonderful Christmas time. The party's on, the feeling's here, that only comes this time of year. Simply having a wonderful Christmas time. Simply having a wonderful Christmas time. The choir of children sing their songs. Ding dong, ding dong, ding dong, ding. We're simply having a wonderful Christmas time. Simply having a wonderful Christmas time. The word is out about the town, so lift your glass, oh, and don't look down. Simply having a wonderful Christmas time. The choir of children sing their song. They practiced all year long. Ding dong, 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 ding dong. The party's on, the spirit's up, we're here tonight, and that's enough.